Funky Doge. Going first, I see. I see you. I see you. And Oblivious Stranger. You know Oblivious Stranger? You have like... I was like checking out the stream stats. I was checking out stream stats the other day. And it seems like you have like the most time spent in my stream. Of all the viewers. Hey Barto. How are you guys doing on this Columbus Day in America? Over here it's a holiday. Oh, yum yum. Bum Bum, Benjamin, Lego Master, Shaken. Alright. Today, let's do some... what's it called? Let's do some game development. So, last stream I was writing, correct? By the way, this is a spoiler stream, so if you don't want to, like, know about my next project and, like, have it be a surprise, you should probably tune out. But if you're curious, if you don't mind being spoiled about the gameplay and how the game's going to be set up, and you're interested in the development, you can stick around. Let me catch you guys up to speed. So my next project is gonna be Smash Bros. Series about competitive gaming. And I'm at a point in the story where the main character has to play against his first professional opponent. So, to make this work, I'm trying to nail down the gameplay of the battles. Because the battles are supposed to kind of be like a storytelling thing. And my goal for this project was to not rely on just pure animation. Well, the battles will have animation, but it's going to be like a game. It's going to be a game. It's interactive. So I have to somehow come up with gameplay that feels like a Smash Bros. Match, but it's actually just a rhythm game, because I'm going to have music going along in the background. So it's actually a rhythm game, but also like it's supposed to be like a professional match. Yeah, yeah, that's what people think when I mention that I'm working on a Smash Bros. Game. It's actually literally about esports. So I have written down a couple of notes about how I want the gameplay to work out. I stayed up real late last night trying to come up with ideas. And I've had these ideas in my head for a while now. You'll know it'll be smashing. I see what you did there. Okay, so the funny thing in my character's universe is that although he will be playing Smash later on. In the beginning of the story, he's in a future where everybody only plays rock, paper, scissors. So that kind of serves as like the tutorial area. Because if you've played fighting games, a lot of the interactions focus around a rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Certain strategies work against one other strategy, but they all kind of counter each other in turn. So it's a guessing game in a way. Oh, yeah. I need to update that host alert. I was testing out someone else. I'll just keep it there. But yeah, thanks for the host, Clyde. Yeah, so this is gonna be a rhythm game, and I want the opponent's attacks to be flying at you as either rock, paper, or scissors. So these are kind of like your prompts to hit a certain button in time with the music. And this will eventually train you to be able to understand fighting games later on in the story. Problem is, okay, so I actually wrote it out like a really quick game. Like I actually programmed it already to see how it would look. Here's what it looks like. So here's the play stage, alright? And I've got different attacks mapped to 3 buttons. So you got a bunch of rock being thrown at you. Yeah, Falco Master game, yeah. Then you have a bunch of paper being thrown at you, right? Then I have scissors. And I was hoping to time these things with the music, you know? So you would be the line. You would have to press buttons in time. As these are flying at you, you have to hit, like, to match it up. And if you hit their correct notes or beats, you'd progress through the fight and see more of the story. We're going to be using Nintendo characters. Characters in Guild Guy Circle of Friends are entirely... So this is going to be outside of my Guild Guy characters. No, I'm not going to have any... This is going to be new universe, new world. So it's going to be humans. It's going to be Smash Bros. Characters. But really it's... yeah, it's something new. Hey, we got a sub. Hey, Eric. What you see here is actually not my normal sub animation. It's actually one I created for a client. But thanks for the sub. That's how the 3 months in a row thing works. It's cool. I'm just going over my new project. Oh, hey, Ogza. Okay, so this is obviously a prototype. Oh, and your little banner popped up too. Why was it in German? Actually, is it German? I'm not exactly sure what language it is. But yeah, he's a foreign streamer. But he speaks English like perfectly well. It's pretty awesome. I visited his stream. He's like speaking like Dutch, that Dutchland, you know, Netherlands language, and just I say hey like in perfect English, and then he's like responds to me without any accents, like hey Guild Guy, blah blah blah. And he's like talking perfect English. It's pretty awesome. His name is Thomas Paste. Let's see if I can link you guys his channel. streams a lot of PUBG. Why am I streaming at this time? Because this is my work time. Okay, so I'm doing this thing, and here, let me load up a song that I wanted to use for this fight. Spotify is updating? Really? Yeah. Hey, it's Poppet, Mr. Benjamin. How's it going? What am I working on? I'm working on prototyping the battle gameplay for my new project. Let me see if I can pull up this song. Alright, here's like a song I might want to use. New Anthem, that's nice. Congrats. So imagine with this music playing, like you're trying to hit these notes in the beat with the music. Hoping like your character is like running trying to match the symbols on the screen. This rock paper scissors dynamic. But I was prototyping it last night, and I don't know. It just doesn't. There was a problem with it. I had a problem with it last night. Let me think. Okay, the problem was players are not able to play rock, paper, scissors in their head that quickly. So if you see a rock coming at you, what button, you'd have to remember, okay, paper covers a rock. I need to hit the button for paper. Which button was paper? Paper was, it was down. So I need to hit down as soon as this rock is flying by at me. Alright, 2 downs. And then, you see scissors coming at you, you have to immediately think within this few, like 2 seconds, okay, I need to do rock. Rock was which button? It was left. And then you'd have to do left and time it. Two lefts to counter these 2 scissors. Is this gonna be like Cuphead? It will be like Cuphead in the sense that there's gonna be a lot of animation, but gameplay wise, no. So my problem was people are not able to calculate rock, paper, scissors in their head that quickly. You see this sequence coming at you, or what do you need to do? Huh? Rock, paper, scissors coming at you, what you need to do? Paper, rock. No. Rock, paper, scissors comes at you, need to do paper, scissors, rock. See, it just takes too long. So I needed to translate, but I still want to include the rock, paper, scissors dynamic. So it needs to be in a way that people understand intuitively. So I'm what's it called? I redrafted it, and I tried rephrasing it as guard, attack, grab. Will your character move to punch the notes or some attack? So I want to, right now, the character stays along this line, because that's the only way I can make it match up with the music perfectly. If you have the character being able to translate left and right, you're going to go out of sync with the music and the notes. So I've been playing a lot of other rhythm games to figure out like what they do. And at most they do like three different buttons. But you can't throw that at beginners that early. Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, when scissors comes at you, you need to just guard. When paper comes at you, you need to cut it. And when rock comes at you, you need to catch it. Hey, Dreadlord. So, yeah, that's my current problem. That's where I'm at. I need to come up with gameplay that is like really in beat with the music, and I can animate it well, but like players can follow along easily. So, one of the examples I was looking at was Undertale. I'm gonna do some brainstorming right now. So, Undertale, how do they do battles? Well, they treat every single battle differently, but the core gameplay is you are a little heart, right? You're constrained in a very clear box. The opponent is always shooting pellets at you. It's just a bullet hell shooter. And you just move to dodge the pellets. And the pellets are an expression of the enemy's like personality. So if he's like playing very passively, it'll be like a tiny little pellet, you know, just slowly going at the same speed to the left. And you can dodge that easily. But if they're going aggressive, they'll do like giant sprays of bullets at you. Right? And that is the expression of the enemy personality. Sometimes the heart has gravity, and you're forced to jump up and down and slide left here. But most of the time you're just omnidirectional. That's Undertale for you in a nutshell. And Toby Fox was able to get away with a lot by using just the simple mechanic of, you know, moving the heart around, dodging bullets, and the bullets patterns reflect the enemy's mood and personality. Now, I want to do something similar where the enemies have like distinct patterns. I'm gonna close my door. Okay, so what other game I looked at? I played Rhythm Heaven Fever for the Wii back in college. And if you haven't played that game, you should. It's really fun. it's kind of like WarioWare, where they throw a bunch of mini games at you. And the one that always like, the one I always remember, it's kind of funny. Was kind of like this pea shooter idea, where this guy, this hand really far away, right, would have these peas, and he would fling them towards the camera, and you play as the fork. And music would play, right? And along with the beats, the major beats of the song, you'd fling these peas at you. And then your job was to press the trigger button to catch these peas onto the fork. And whenever the fork would catch all four, like a dude would like eat the peas, and then your fork would be cleared out, and the song would continue. And that particular minigame felt really good, because you could see the peas coming very obviously. The animation on this was coded very well. It would be, you'd fling it, you'd hear two pings, ping, ping, and then they'd have this extreme ease in, slow, 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 and then super fast. And your job was to catch it right here. So you could see the peas coming very, very obviously. Their trajectory was telegraphed very well. That's something I noticed about that game that I liked. Yeah, Rhythm Heaven. I played another game online. It was a Flash game. I forgot the name, but it had a... I think it based its gameplay off another Japanese game. It was kind of like Beatmania or DDR, but instead of arrows, it used levels, notes, pretty much. And each of these were corresponded to a key on the keyboard. And the playhead is the one that would move, right? The blue line. The blue line would move forward. The beats would not fly at you. So, if I remember correctly, the top line corresponded to the number keys, so you could press 1 on your keyboard to hit this note. You'd press Q to hit this second tier. Press A to land this third tier, and then you'd press Z to land the fourth tier. And as the playhead moved forward, you'd have to hit, like, right here would be, the sequence would be AZQ1 in time with the music. AZQ1, see? And there would be a bunch of notes scattered around, and you could get away with really fast songs, and the user would not be too confused. And once the playhead hit the right side, you notice that I left the bottom part of the screen blank. The bottom part, the playhead would literally move down a level to this bottom half of the screen, and then you'd have to play a different set of notes from right to left. So the first part of a measure would be from left to right. And then when the second measure of the song would play, you'd hit notes from right to left. So then, again, you'd have notes, you know, scattered. And it was a very smooth experience because you have the playhead moving left to right, down, right to left, and then back up. And then it's like just a big cycle of notes. And it was a very smart way to present the beats that you had to hit on the screen at all times. Right now, with my game, it's just a void. You don't see the notes coming until like 2 seconds in. Right here, you see them coming, like you can prepare for them. Taiko? Is that what it's called? Alright, see you, Night Vibe. Alright, so that's what I liked about that game. Very recently, I played a game called Rhythm Doctor. It's actually last night. Gameplay is super simple. It's a single line. They put a heart at the end that like pulsates to the beat. But what they really want you to do is land the 7th note, aka, you know, the last beat in a measure, because most beats are 8 notes long, so they go bop, 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 and then they want you to hit spacebar on the 7th note. And they cue up the time when you're supposed to hit it, the 7th note, with just these little heartbeats. So imagine this green line appearing here, 1, 2, 3, like this, and then you hit space, and then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're supposed to hit it right there. They make the game a little bit more complicated by sometimes hiding beats. So they'll just put a big X on maybe the 3rd and 4th beat, so that when you play it, you really have to keep beat internally in your head. So it'll be bop, 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 and then you hit it. There's just complete silence during these 2 beats, and you're supposed to keep it in your head to always hit it on the 7th. And they make it even more confusing by introducing 2nd and 3rd timelines at the same time. So even while you're trying to time the beat for this first character, because they represent it with characters each timeline, these are like your patients that you're supposed to be saving here. Down here, you got maybe like a snowman or something, but the snowman might have like a faster tempo. So while this guy appears, bop, 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 spacebar. Down here, this guy could be bop, 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 spacebar. And you got both of these going on at the same time. And that's the challenge. You have to keep beat in your head. This would be like a really fun game for drummers, I'd imagine. So that's a rhythm game idea. Very simple, single timeline, no notes really that you have to hit. Just one key. You just hit you just hit spacebar. Rhythm games are fun for me. I really like them. They get you in flow very quickly, because it's like almost the opposite of strategy games. If you think during a rhythm game, you're not playing it right. In strategy games, you must think, and like puzzles, you know, you have to observe and you have lots of time. Rhythm games is pure gut reaction and instinct. So I need to design a game around gut reaction and instinct. The point of these battles is to get you in flow and really feel what's going on. And you see, that's what I do with, what's it called, my animations. Sometimes when I watch reactions of my animations, because, you know, I love watching them. I love seeing people react. Sometimes they just get mesmerized by the music and the animation moving along, and they don't even react. And I'm like, alright, that's good. That's what I actually want. I don't want people outside of the animation thinking about what's going on. I just want them to just, you know, nod their head to it. So it doesn't have to be fast-paced, but it has to be moody, and it can't require you, it can't make you fumble over the controls. That's the last thing I want. Which is where I'm at. Right now I'm fumbling over the controls here. See a rock coming at you, what button do you press? I don't know. See, it's like too confusing. So I'm gonna have to change this. Almost all other rhythm games are like based around just hopping over an obstacle that's flying at you. So if you've ever played Impossible Game or Geometry Dash, you got the spikes flying at you. Your guys are like right here. All you do is hit spacebar and you jump over it. And then you're done. I need something similar. I need something simple, but different. I'm trying to do something tricky here though, because with Geometry Dash, the only expression of the song is spikes and obstacles and platforms and falling through and, you know, whatever teleports that go on. That's not really an expression of your opponent, because the whole idea of these battles is that you're fighting somebody on the other side and they want to beat you. But in order to win, here's like kind of the key to this. This is one of the themes of the animation, is that you have to understand and read the beat. You have to read. That's kind of that's kind of like the analogy I'm trying to make here. You got your opponent, and you have to kind of read him. You have to know his. You have to know his rhythm. And he's sending out vibes, he's sending out beats at you. He's sending out rock, paper, scissors, attacks, guards, flanks, and stuff. He's sending out all these tactics at you. And you, the metaphor is, you're reading your opponent when you get in flow with the song. And when you get in flow with the song, then you win. You beat the music level, you beat your opponent because you know him inside out. You're just hitting buttons, you're not thinking too hard about it. That's where you get the nerves in a fighting game. I notice in tournaments, when you start thinking too much, you lose. That's the metaphor I'm trying to make here, is when you play OS or a Rhythm Heaven Fever, when you're in flow, you're doing well, but when you think too much or fumble over the controls, you start losing. So that's how I want to express these obstacles. Spikes, I'm not sure is gonna do it. Like, you can't, like, what is a spike supposed to represent? Is that an attack? Is that just something in the environment you're supposed to dodge? So I want these characters to be thrown out. Initially, I thought making them throw out rock, paper, and scissors, because they're literally playing rock, paper, and scissors in my story. I was thinking that could work, but as I'm actually playing it, it's too hard. It takes you out of the rhythm. It takes you out of the flow. See ya, Stellar. I need to go back to my drawing board. Okay, let's think about this. Maybe I can make this work. The rock, paper, scissors dynamic. Would it be too confusing? Wouldn't be too confusing. Okay, this is your avatar. This is your line. Right. You've got 3 possible obstacles to fly in your way. I need to present them in a way that the player can intuitively know what to do, so that you're not thinking about it too much. That is rock, paper, and scissors. Let's address the easiest one. Scissors. Scissors obviously looks like something dangerous. When you see scissors flying at you, you know that's something you need to block, or that's something you don't want to touch you, right? So, most intuitively, you're supposed to guard against scissors. Or jump over it, shit. But jumping over... Should I let the player jump? Can they just dodge attacks? See, I'm starting to lose focus here. How do I want... I don't want the player to deal with this stuff. And is it even gonna be fun? Okay. That's the most important part. It has to feel good. Okay, bad guy over here. He's throwing out these attacks. If scissors can be blocked, then rock's gotta be dodged or jumped over. Hey Jason. Jumping over stuff is very intuitive. That is something that gamers understand. This is flying at you quite quickly. See scissors coming at you. What do? You can either jump over it. What happens if you jump over it? You get hurt? Like, is your heart over here and you gotta protect it? What if you just let notes fly by you? Is that fine? Does that make any sense though? The scissors continue flying past you, right? And you jumped over it. What's to stop you from just jumping over everything else? And then you just get basic, you know, just hit spacebar to the music. How do I present this? Okay. Fan art? Did you post some fan art? Let me check. Yeah, I should take a quick break from this. Alright, let me take a look at these. Oh, sweet. I really like the perspective on this. Well done. What program did you use to make this? Kind of looks like Is it Scythe? But yeah, I like it. The sword bending, that's crazy. Clip Studio Paint. Ah, okay. Looks great. And I also want attacks to be flying in at different heights for later battles. So if the music, you're kind of jumping and you're going down and you're also hitting notes at the same time. I need to... Okay. I'm starting to get back to where I was last night with my brainstorming. I'm kind of nervous about it because for some reason I tend to make my games really difficult. Like, just like to the point where it's not really fun. I spent so much time coming up with gameplay for Slush Invaders game and trying to bring like really fun, like sandboxy. That's what I want this one to be like. I want it to feel kind of sandboxy, where you can kind of do what you want, but it just like feels good. Power-ups and upgrades? Maybe, but really I just want to make the gameplay just more challenging as you go along. Okay, so what was I thinking? Okay. Here's the important part. The important part is one of these needs to be, you just collect it. You're supposed to run into it. Right? One of these, you're supposed to hit a button as you run into it. So you're supposed to... One of these are like a parry. I think that's what it was called in Cuphead. Parry. Hit button as you run into it. And then one of these is supposed to be dodge. Never touch it. There we go. Okay, that's what I boiled down. That's the gameplay of most what are they called? Side-scrolling runners. If I just before I was thinking, oh, everything is a parry. You have to hit a button as you hit every single one of these, but it's too confusing for players. It's too confusing for me, I can just tell. Just from playing that, like, creating that small prototype. Making the player always parry all of these attacks as they come at you, it's too much work. Dragon Guy asks, speaking of which, are you going to include some slushers in this game, or is that spoiler share? No, this does not take place in a Stickman universe. Even though I'm using a little Stickman as my avatar right here, this takes place in a different world. This is a new series. This is Falcon Master. So don't expect to see Gilda as a character in there. Okay. I think this is a reasonable set of rules that people will understand. Okay, I just got to match up 1, 2, and 3 to either rock, paper, or scissors. Can you guys help me with that? I feel like this is Blue's Clues, but like with game development. Which of these matches with collect? Which rock, paper, and scissors? Which one would you want to collect the most? Keeping in mind the counter. In order to beat rock, you have to use paper. Paper beats rock. Scissors cuts paper. And rock beats scissors. Paper is something you'd collect. Alright, intuitive enough. So we say we collect the paper, and whenever you run it into the paper, the guy will automatically do a little scissors animation. So he'll just like cut the paper by himself. You don't have to press anything, you just run into the paper and you... So whenever you see a bunch of like papers in the song coming at you, you just collect them like they're rings from Sonic. You dodge scissors. And you parry the rock? Scissors are... okay. Yeah, actually that does make sense. Though you would also dodge rocks. And guard against scissors. Rocks are harder to collect. The idea of a rock is that you cover it. So, imagine this. I already have scissors written down here. I would draw a rock as well. This is how I do game design, by the way. Lots of diagrams. Okay. You as a player, pretend you're playing this rhythm game and music's playing in the background. Stuff is flying through. You know to collect paper, but then you see a scissors and a rock. Which one would you want to dodge more? Which one would you want to parry more? As in, hit a button and like run into it and hit a button more. Are you gravitated to run into the rock and collect the rock? Like, hit a button and collect the rock? Or are you gravitated to run towards the scissors and pummel the scissors? Or you let the scissors come to you and you hit guard. Because that's essentially what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to guard. You're supposed to guard scissors. Somehow. Or you can just dodge them. Oh, shit. Parry the rock to break scissors. Okay, so that's not... These are separate obstacles. These are separate obstacles. You can't guard against rock. It's too big. Scissors you can hit guard. Maybe that's what I mean by parry. Well, if you also hit if you hit rock against rock, we haven't even dealt with the neutral, the tie condition. What if you were to use rock against rock? What if you to use scissors against scissors? And what if you were to just dodge paper? Nothing would happen. Okay, so you're not collecting these items. These are just these are attacks. When I say collect, parry, and dodge, I'm describing the central gameplay to most running side-scrollers. You have an item that you wish to run into. That's a good thing, right? You have an item that you wish to hit a button as you run into it. So usually those are like enemies or something. Then you have dodge. They are obstacles that you don't want to touch ever. Fireballs, stuff like that. I'm gravitating towards making dodge connected to rock and parry connected to scissors. Although scissors are dangerous, right? And you want to dodge them. Rocks are like how do you parry a rock? Right? When a rock is flying at you, are you supposed to just like catch it in midair? Maybe you are. Right? Oh, what is this? I'm prototyping and planning the gameplay for my battles in this new project. Yeah, like one part of the gameplay is just gonna be, you know, visual novel style, two characters talking to each other, and you just read the dialogue and listen to them act. Another part of the gameplay is going to be a rhythm music sequences, rhythm game. And they're supposed to mimic fighting game battles where your opponent is throwing out attacks at you, and you're supposed to deal with them in order to survive the entire length of the battle. Hey Power Meep. This is my Halloween overlay, if you remember from last year. Right now, I'm planning gameplay. I am scratching my head. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with, okay, do you grab rocks, or do you run up, or do you just guard against scissors? Let's look at both scenarios. I'm gonna write some notes out here on the right. Okay, let's say that you're supposed to parry rock. If you're supposed to parry rock, right? Whenever you see a rock flying at you, it would look like this. You'd always attempt to catch the rock. You hit a button to catch the rock. To grab the rock. That's how you deal with a rock. And included in this, you'd have to always dodge scissors, right? Because we need an obstacle where you just don't touch it ever. So you just hop over scissors as it's flying at you. That does not include the idea that rock beats scissors. Where's that metaphor? Where's that analogy? You're not pummeling the scissors, you're just not doing anything to the scissors, you're just dodging it. That doesn't really solve it, but put that aside. Flip side. We parry scissors instead. Correct? If we parry scissors, then it would look like this. What beats scissors? Rock. So you harden up, aka you guard. So I would put like a little bubble around you. He kind of clenches fist. And whenever scissors comes at you, the scissors breaks. That works perfectly with the metaphor that rock beats scissors. Flip side. We'd have to dodge the rocks. Rocks would be the obstacle that you'd never want to touch. So then you'd be jumping over rocks. But does that include the idea that paper beats rock? Kind of. What is paper? Paper is flowing. So I could make paper kind of like his cape, right? No. The idea is paper covers rock. Maybe as he jumps, he leaves behind a bunch of paper. Isn't it the rock gets covered by the paper? Oh, Matador, that could work too. Okay guys, I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Just enjoy the music while I go. I'll be right back.
Finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together if you wanna clap as we take you through this monkey rap. DK, Donkey Kong, DK. Donkey Kong is here.
He's the leader of the bunch, you know him well. He's finally back to kick some tails.
He's bigger, faster, and stronger too. He's the first member of the DK crew.
DK, Donkey Kong, DK,
So listen up, dudes. She can shrink in size to suit her mood.
She's quick and nimble and she needs to be. She can flow through the air and climb up trees.
If you choose her, you're not choose wrong. A skip and a hop, she is one cool calm.
DK! Donkey Kong! DK! Donkey Kong is here! DK! Donkey Kong! DK!
Oh my god,
Donkey Kong is here!
He has no style, he has no grace. And this Kong has a funny face. He can handstand when he needs to and stretch his arms out just for you.
Up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Balloon Linky. This crazy Kong simply digs this tune.
DK! Donkey Kong! DK! Donkey Kong's here!
Back again and about time too. And this time he's in that mood.
He can fly real high with his jetpack on. His pistols out, he's one cool Kong.
Make you smile when he plays his tune, but Clemens beware, cause he's after you.
DK! Donkey Kong! DK! Donkey Kong is here!
I believe he's here for you, the last member of the DK crew.
This Kong's so strong, it isn't even funny. He'll make a Kremlin cry out for
He
money.
can pick up a boulder with relative ease. He can make crushing rock seem such a breeze.
He may move slow and he can't jump high, but this Kong's one hell of a guy.
Come on, Cranky, take it to the fridge.
Walnuts, peanuts, pineapples, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells. Walnuts, peanuts, pineapples, grapes, melons, oranges, and coconut shells.
Alright, let's figure this out. SR, some request. Alright, you guys got any ideas while I was gone? Okay, so say I pick paper at first, and I can freely pick paper. I parry, rock, and dodge scissors. Well, I don't understand. He's dead. I gotta talk about the stream. Dang it, hurry back, Mike. Dark Rise Animates. Thanks. Glad you like my stuff. I hope to make more. As you can see, I am trying to make more. Alright, power. Okay. How do I get my animation so smooth? That part came with just a lot of practice. Wasn't too much. There was no real trick. I watch a lot of animation, so a lot of animation is just mimicking what you're observing in real life, making sure lines follow the laws of physics, you know? So just watch things in slow motion a lot. Watching the slow-mo guys helps with animation. Okay, is the player moving? Paper could be covering a pitfall. Rock would be too heavy to cross. A vertical paper would have to be sliced through. Now, Okay. I want the player to move around, but maybe for now, think of it only as they're pretty much constrained to this line here. This is a rhythm game, so this is your timeline. You have to stay with the timeline. Things are flying at you. Think Geometry Dash in the Impossible game. Vertical paper would have to be sliced through as if it were like a barrier. Okay, so you have to hit a button to slice through it. That would cover the parry option. So you're saying have parry connected to paper instead of scissors. And then, yes, this is a game. I'm trying to figure out. You know what? There's this very similar game I had programmed that I want this to be kind of similar to. What's the name? It's called Freebird. That was just the working title. Ooh, so laggy. Let me... I just pull up the video. Where's my video? I'll just go to the wiki. Is there a link to the video? Wait. Link to the song? There we go. I really hope this game I'm working on doesn't turn into the 30-second incomplete game. Alright. Here's a game I programmed in freshman year of college. And I kind of want the gameplay to be similar in this one. See how, like, the guy is moving with the music? But he can kind of move around freely, but other than that, he's kind of constrained. I do want something like this. Actually, looking at this, I should really just model it like this. I don't even know how I'd program this though. I'm not sure I want to use Flash. Interesting. I completely forgot about this game. Alright, let's do the grid. Gotta organize my ideas. Power Meep. Thinking like a programmer. Like a true mathematician. This is where math comes in handy, guys. Did I draw too many lines here? I did. just need, it's like tic-tac-toe, right? No, but I need, there we go. That's kind of what I want, trials. Alright. What have we got here? We have collect, parry. Let's call this avoid. Or, yeah, avoid. Alright, I need to label these things. Okay. Alright, let's write all these out. Collecting the rock would involve you kind of capturing the rock with papers. So imagine our stick guy. See, these are the rocks coming at you. I should just draw what these look like. Collecting paper would just be, as you touch the paper, you slice through it with scissors. And collecting scissors would look like you're pummeling them with a rock as you run into them automatically. This makes the least amount of sense to me. Why you would want to collect scissors doesn't make much sense. Parrying rock. So as a rock comes at you, it would pretty much be the same thing. Your guy would attempt to cover the rock with paper. Oh yeah, there's also tie. We'll worry about the tie condition later. When you parry paper, would be a similar thing, right? Paper would be coming at you, and then you hit a button and you slice it. Parry scissors. Wait, am I? Wait. I got this. I'm just ending up copying all of these. I'm confusing myself. Am I gonna have to describe these better? Somebody's vacuuming above me. Okay, avoid. Let me just spell this out for myself. I just need to make sense of it, all this. You avoid the rock. My idea was, whenever you jump, you leave behind paper. Okay, this is starting to make sense. I need to, since all of these are supposed to, It's meant to mimic real life, real fighting game mechanics. Rock? It's supposed to be like block. At least I imagine it to be. Paper was supposed to be like a grab. The scissors was meant to be attack. Collect rock, parry scissors, and avoid paper. Let me just get this right. Avoiding paper would be like avoiding paper from covering you. Avoiding scissor would be the same thing. Yeah, please share with me your ideas. I'm looking at the chat. All of these have to eventually translate into block, grab, and attack. You collect. Paper is like a grab. Huh. Interesting. So ultimately this would be like grab. Block. Shit. I confused the heck out of myself. I just confused myself so hard. Problem. How am I going to translate all of these into block, grab, and attack? Like... Okay, I see. I need to make this color-coded. Collect, parry, and avoid have to somehow correspond to block, grab, and attack. So the problem is they all correspond to a parry command, because when you block you hit something, when you grab you hit a button, when you attack you also hit a button. Maybe block can automatically be like avoid? That's the complete opposite. Alright, let's take a look at this. Parry, collect, avoid. If you parry rock. Ah, I see what you mean. See, I'm a visual guy, and I thought it was we were doing some kind of Mendeleev, recessive, dominant trait thing. Alright. Let me download this. Oops. Let's copy it. I'm going to keep this, just in case. I'm going to keep this, just in case. Elaborate. Alright, we fill out the elaborate part. How about we just type it out? I'm tired of drawing. Okay. Slide dash? Oh, there's an idea too. Okay, first, let's try to fill this out the best we can. By parrying rock, I'd imagine you have to cover it with paper. So you somehow you use paper to cover rock. think one of the ideas was Matador style. Matador, or jumping, leaving trail of paper over rock. When you collect paper, your guy will automatically slice paper upon contact. I think that's pretty intuitive, because paper seems pretty harmless, and you as a character would want to run into and collect paper. You wouldn't really want to collect rock or scissors. So that makes sense to me. Avoid scissors. Oh, no, I got this wrong. There we go. Or catch it. Catch with paper. There we go. Avoid scissors. You would just jump over it. Slide under scissors. So that's related to maneuvering. Doesn't really... How does this relate to rock beat scissors though? So that's an issue. So the 1 and 2 makes perfect sense to me. Problem was with 3. How would I make that work, right? But we move on to the next idea, which is we parry the paper. So as paper's coming at you, one idea was a wall of paper is coming at you, and you need to slice through it. Slice through wall of paper. So you actually have to attack. You have to press a button to slice through it. Push a button. Let's take a look at J-Shot's idea. Oh, you have a very big list. Okay, let me get my first draft down, and then I'll consult J-Shot's ideas, because we might have intersecting ideas, and those are the golden ideas. But I first have to put down what my ideas are first. Number 2, collect scissors. We would want to collect scissors. Actually, beat the scissors upon contact. I'm gonna highlight this as red. This doesn't really make sense to me. Number 3, avoid rock. Okay, jump over, slide under rocks. Leave behind trail of paper upon jump, so that it covers rocks. That's the only way I could make sense of it. Nitron Soul. I think you collect the thing you main, you parry the thing you're against, and you avoid the thing you lose against? Okay, so you are not literally you are not rock, paper, scissors, right? You are just a character, and you have to deal with rock, paper, scissors coming at you. Let me pull up another picture. Not that one. What's this one? See, you're the blue guy on the bottom left. And you have these rocks and papers and scissors coming at you, and you have different options with dealing with them. I've already figured out the options. The options are you either collect the item, right? As in, you want to run into it. You either parry the item, which is you need to run into it, press a button, or press a button as it touches you. Or 3, you need to just avoid that item completely. Now, I'm trying to fit these into the narrative slash the metaphor game of rock, paper, scissors. such that they make sense in a rhythm running game. Like I was demonstrating before with my Freebird game. Like I was jumping over things, he was attacking things, and he was avoiding things. Instead of using spikes and enemies and energy blasts, I'm using rock, papers, and scissors. So it actually doesn't follow the game of rock, paper, scissors itself. This is very confusing. I'm having second thoughts about this, but let's just keep moving forward. The idea of collection is not that important. There's no points in this game. When I say collect, I'm saying you're meant to run into it. See, in parentheses. It doesn't go into your inventory or anything. So maybe I should just write touch instead. It's not really collect, it's touch. The word collect is misleading. All these things are bad, but these are the way you deal with them. Alright, scissors. Parry is scissors. This makes sense. Beat scissors with fist / rock. Push a button. So if you push a button, you'll just like swing your fist. Okay, makes sense. Number 2. You collect the rock. This could also make sense. You automatically cover rocks with paper, grabbing it. With a cloth, right? As you touch the rocks. People collect rocks. I could make them like kind of harmless looking. Number 3, you're supposed to avoid paper. This doesn't make much sense to me. You avoid it, yet you cut it. Jump over, slide under paper. Maybe I could try to mix in an animation of cutting paper as do this, but it doesn't make much sense. Alright, all of them have their issues. They all have one red. I'm gonna resize this so all fits on my screen. Nope, didn't work. Skid sore. If you can do all of those options against each object, what would make the player use each option? Okay, so if you're... I have not played Dokapon Kingdom. Let's take a look at J-Shot's notes. This is based off your impression of the game, but it may have changed. But let's take a look. I'm sorry, rock, paper, scissors. Correct. Rock, slow but power. If you get hit, you get pushed back or lose depending on what you want to do for hits. You can either dodge, get nothing, lose nothing, perfectly safe. Parry. It reflects the rock in the other direction. Okay. Scissors. I see. You had the idea that you have control of sending out scissors, paper, and rock. This is interesting gameplay right here. If you guard it, your shield is broken for a while. Wiki, you can guard and shield and parry it and gets reflected, but the paper is after you cut out the paper. Dodging is safe as guarding it. Right. Okay, yeah. So I'm guessing you wrote this before I went into further detail how my vision of the game was gonna be like. So my vision of the game is gonna be way more just rhythm and what's it called? Like gut decision based. So I believe this would be a bit too much strategy to be throwing at players at the speed of music playing, you know? Which is why I decided upon the maximum amount of actions you need to take are either parry, touch, and avoid. Because I think that's all, maybe me personally, that's all I can handle in a rhythm game when I'm playing it. I see certain objects, I want to touch them. I see certain objects, I want to avoid them. And I also see certain objects I want to attack, aka parry. Alright, which of these make the most sense? Ugh, is it blurry? Can you read the text? My impression is the top one makes the most intuitive sense. What if you did all of them? You see an obstacle, you have a safe, low risk, and high risk option. That's giving the player too much decisions to make. I don't think you're here when I demoed it, but here's my current idea, right? Imagine a rock flying in at you. It looks pretty slow right now, but it's kind of laggy. So, with the songs I'm using, they're really like high energy and fast. So, you got, if I were to match it with the beats per minute of the current song, what's going on here? This is the tempo of the current song. So, kind of expecting the player to make that many decisions about high risk, low risk, you know, it's too much. Think impossible game, think Geometry Dash. They throw a ton of obstacles at you, but it's very intuitive as to how to deal with them. You see a spike, you jump over it. You see a platform, you want to jump on that. You see a fireball, you don't want to touch it. So you have all these options flying at you, right? Would you be able to deal with them in an intuitive way? Rock, block, paper, collect, scissors, jump over, rock. Rock, block, paper, collect. See a bunch of paper? Just run right through them. You got it. You see one scissors, you gotta jump over that. See, that's kind of what I'm going for. The only way to know for sure is to actually program it and like try it out. Yes. Another good example I wanted was, you guys ever play Rayman? Rayman Legends? The music levels in that game are like really well designed. They train you through the core gameplay of how to deal with obstacles, but then they put it into the context of music games. See, it's and it makes sense. See, jump. So that's your avoid option. They're not throwing too many obstacles at you at once. You can jump and attack. But boiled down, it's you have things you need to hit, you have things you need to jump over, and you have things you want to touch. Actually, they don't feature too many things you need to collect. Those would be the lums, usually, but those are the only 3 decisions you're making throughout these music levels. Alright, you guys get the idea. Yeah, I'm getting real picky about this. It's like, it's tough to have an idea in your head and let go of certain things. There's no, I could, but my idea was, let me pull this up again. Each time you do an action properly, whether it's cutting paper, catching the rocks, and guarding against the scissors, each time you do it properly, you get like a green check, like you did it right, like good job. And the more, if you complete a sequence perfectly, then I'll play a little cutscene, a really well animated cutscene of, you know, what's going on story-wise in the fight. So imagine like a portrait cut in that you'd see in a fighting game, you know, to give you the thumbs up that you're doing good. Stellar, thanks for the host. Okay, I have to I'm thinking too far ahead. I mean, I need to getting rid of this. Hey, Ninja. Why am I even doing this? Like, why am I forcing it to be rock, paper, scissors being thrown at you? Hey, Pantonium. It's not even following the game of rock, paper, scissors because rock, paper, scissors is all about countering, not necessarily just choosing the perfect option. Yeah, why? Yeah, that's the question I'm asking myself. Why am I doing this? It's because story-wise, the characters play rock, paper, scissors instead of Smash Bros. It's supposed to be like a dystopian society where gaming has been reduced to this really simple game of rock, paper, scissors. And I have the player play actual rock, paper, scissors earlier on. But then when like he goes into a battle with music going on and all the themes and like the cool notes, I want the rock, papers, and scissors to be flying at you. To be a more epic version of rock, paper, scissors. But to combine that with music sync style game can be quite... I know, it's quite difficult, but if I hammer at it away enough, I can find an elegant solution that will make sense thematically and gameplay-wise. That's like the holy grail of game design to me, is that it makes sense to the story, and it's fun to play, and it makes sense. So if I can kind of mold this in a way to work, I just have to keep iterating, you know? I can't just give up on... Like, even though I don't see the solution right now, it's, there's potential, I think. Yeah, I could do the rock, paper, scissors thing if you didn't have to think so fast, but the whole point is to make thinking automatic. Because that's what happens when you play Street Fighter, when you play fighting games, when you play Smash Bros. It is rock, paper, scissors. Like going on very fast. Every couple seconds is some guy's guarding. Oh, okay, I need to like get up close. Oh, he's attacking, I need a guard. Oh, he's not doing anything, I need to attack. And that happens at lightning fast speeds. I want to translate that into a rhythm game. And like teach. Yeah, that's my. That's why I really want this to work. They're like fire and ice to one another. Not necessarily true, because they both work in fighting games for some reason. When you're playing a fighting game, you can get in flow and like read your opponent and like predict he's gonna go paper, so that you start attacking. Offense or defense? Well, in Smash Bros. It's actually there's defense, there's grab, and then there's offense. Grab beats defense. Defense beats attack, and attack beats grab. Yeah, guard break kind of thing. The only rhythms I've played mostly focus on rhythm, not attention. I see. Attack, guard, guard break. Right. Yeah, simplified, that's what the game is. And now I'm trying to mix it in with a rhythm slash side scroller. Parry scissors, dodge rock. What was the problem with that? Parry scissors, avoid rock. Wait, does this grid cover all the options? I'm not sure if it covers all the permutations. It does? It's got it, right? Wait. Because couldn't you also have paper, rock, scissors? Or is that already somewhere? Couldn't this be an option? It's a different. You have the same paper parry, but like these two are switched. instead. We haven't explored all the options yet, guys. Because I'm combinations, permutations, right? Yeah, I was wondering why J-Shot's notes had so many. Well, J-Shot had a different idea, but yeah, he had way more options. So there would be 6. Right, correct. So let's... Alright. There's hope, guys. Let's organize this such that... Am I going to have to break out Excel? No, I'm not breaking out Excel. Then I know I've gone too far, you know? Correct, J-Shot. The music syncing aspect is probably even more important than the rock, paper, scissors aspect. Because there's no... I can't think of any better way to make someone in flow than with music. And that's the bridge I can make. Because with the regular fighting games, there's no music that you're supposed to follow. But there is a tempo to a match. So it's like yeah, I'm trying to bridge that that gap between casual players and the pros, or people who actually play fighting games. People who play fighting games will understand that there's a flow to the battle with your opponent. And I think that bridge can be gapped with music. Rock, paper, scissors, I'm not sure. I'm trying to make it work. We'll see. Okay, so color these variations in purple. Rock, scissors, paper here. Oh, I messed up. I'm running out of space. That's tedious. I really don't like spreadsheet game design. Doesn't feel organic, but sometimes I just need to do it to just see where all the options are. This is why I don't really like doing I've kind of lost my taste for designing games involving damage and math, because there's a lot of calculation involved, but not too much, you know, playtesting. All right, rock, scissors, paper. Rock stays the same, right? Somehow use. Okay, touch scissors. I've written this down before. 2. Automatically beat scissors upon contact. That's no good. 3. Avoid paper. Why would you want to avoid paper? right here. Parry paper. Yeah, we've already actually described all the actions. Just now it's just different permutations. Touch rock. That would involve doing this. And avoiding scissors would look like this. Last one, we parry the scissors. We touch paper, automatically slice paper upon contact, yes, nice. And then, what does the last one have red? Avoid rock. We've written it. Ooh, okay, I think we find it. This one does not have any red, which means that it might make the most thematic sense. Yeah. If I use using fast music, I don't necessarily have to cover every single beat. But if I'm able to give the user the option to cover every single beat, they'll want to replay the level over and over again until they perfect it, and then it feels awesome. Because the feeling of being able to hit every single beat in a song, because you know the song inside and out, it feels awesome. That's what I do with my animation. I try to hit as many beats as possible so that when you rewatch it, it just feels good. Can I achieve that with gameplay? Maybe. I want to try. Okay. I'm going to copy paste this at the bottom so we can see it. So let's see what's so good about this. Does it make sense? We parry scissors, as in we beat scissors by pressing a button and then you attack the scissors, okay? We touch paper because paper is harmless and we just cut the paper upon contact, okay? We avoid rock. So when we jump over a side on a rock, we leave behind a trail of paper upon jump so that it covers the rock. And that's avoiding rock. It's better than the other options because all the other options have these very thorny analogies. First one, when you avoid scissors, you somehow beat the scissors, like actively. That's like, how is that? You know, you're using a rock as you avoid. That doesn't make much sense. Here, you avoid paper, and you cut the paper as you avoid it. That doesn't make too much sense. You automatically beat scissors upon contact. It's not very intuitive that you'd run into scissors. You don't want to touch scissors. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. I'm gonna just cross out things that don't make sense. Why would you want to avoid paper? The problem with avoiding scissors is that how are you using rock to beat it? The problem with same problem here, avoiding scissors. Same problem with avoiding paper here. This last one, the avoiding rock metaphor is a little dicey, but it beats avoiding paper and avoiding scissors. Like paper is a bait? In a way. Maybe this would be better for an invincibility night game. Yeah, maybe. Nitron Solo, you got it right. This is the combination we're thinking of, or I'm thinking of. Okay, how does this translate to guard break, and attack? Let's see if the metaphor still holds. In this case, rock is like guarding. This is guard. Paper is guard break. And scissors is attack. Now does it logically make sense that you would beat an attack? Beat scissors with a fist or rock. You beat attack by guarding. So true. That means the rest are true, right? You automatically slice paper upon contact. So when you beat paper, by attacking, and you beat rock by avoiding. Alright, maybe this is the closest we can get. Probably not making much sense to you guys right now. Yeah, that's a good point, Ben, about Guild Guy. I think I flip-flopped which side I was talking about. Did I? Okay, the enemy is throwing scissors at you. You beat the enemy scissors, the enemy attack. By parrying. You beat scissors with the push of a button. So in this case, I need more drawing space. Okay, this is you. This is what it's gonna look like. You're gonna throw, your dude is gonna throw up a rock, right? And he's gonna guard against scissors. You have to press a button to guard against scissors. This follows the metaphor of rock, paper, scissors. Because the scissors break. Good. Check mark. Makes sense. This is getting tedious. But I have to follow it all. I don't think they were gonna look this closely at the mechanics, but I want to make sure it makes sense even to this degree. Here, paper, touch. In a way, you are attacking by jumping out and wanting to touch. So you jump out and your guy does a little swipey animation automatically. In a way, you are beating the paper. Because the paper was trying to grab you. The paper was trying to envelop you with paper, right? But you just collected it. You just sliced it. And then, with the rocks, your dude jumps over. And papers fly out from your bum. And the rock just completely avoided it. This is kind of like using a grab break. A guard break. The guy was just guarding. Interesting. Okay. No. You are winning by... He's guarding, right? He's the one guarding. You beat him by grabbing. Because if you attempt to attack the rock, you lose. If you attempt to guard against the guard, nothing happens. Okay, we have to keep in mind that this particular movement has to be just an avoidance. It has to be maneuvering. The only thing that you attempt to press a button towards is scissors. You're not supposed to press a button for any for paper or rock. For paper, you're just supposed to run into it, and for rock, you're just supposed to avoid it. This metaphor is kind of wonky, but I don't think... I think that's a sacrifice I have to make. Because this doesn't really represent a grab very well. This actually represents a grab much more. Okay, what if I were to do scissors, rock, paper? Do I have that? Scissors, rock, paper? Problem with that is... Why would you want to avoid paper? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Though. Okay, now see. Guys, I'm sorry. This is probably super confusing for you guys. I'm just like going everywhere with this. It's hard to follow. See, I'm starting to like scissors, rock, paper now because of rock. The idea of touch is the same as grab. And the idea of avoiding paper I'm going way too far with this, so I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself. The only one that makes clear sense to me is that you guard against scissors. You want to touch paper, yes. But do you... Touching paper, paper represents grab. You beat grabs by attacking it. Rock represents a grab? No, that doesn't make sense. Rock can't represent a grab. Paper represents grab perfectly. Rock represents a guard. Paper represents a grab perfectly because it kind of covers you. So if you just have a rock, you're just guarding, and the paper will just cover you. That's the grab. That makes perfect sense. So how do you deal with paper coming at you? Well, you attack it. You beat a guard break with an attack. Is that right? You beat a guard break with an attack. So, actually, these two need... You beat scissors with a... How do you beat scissors? You guard against it. AKA, you just eat it? You just touch it? It's supposed to be this way? You actually want to touch the scissors? So you let scissors hit you and you will guard out automatically? And when paper comes at you, you have to attack it, otherwise it will... Oh. See, now... things are a little bit different. What if, by default, your character always guards? Something flies at you, or rock, you attempt to guard it. Paper flies at you, you attempt to guard it. Scissors flies at you, you attempt to guard it. You don't even have to press a button. So it is in your best interest to want to touch scissors, because the scissors will be broken. You don't want to touch the paper, because the paper will just cover your guard. And if you bump into a rock, well then that's a tie. Rock versus rock, just ties. Rock, paper, scissors invokes 3 actions, but you're trying to map it to 1 action. Yeah, am I doing something mathematically impossible? I described 3 actions. Well, I only had... Why talk about it? The mechanics are these 3 black texts right here. I am just trying to make sure that the visuals match what's going on and it makes sense, and that these 3 translate to guard, guard break, and attack later on in the story. See how I have these blue things over here on the right? Later on the story, we abandon the rock, paper, scissors dynamic, and we just replace it 1-to-1 with guard, grab, and attack. Hey feline, are Thanksgiving? Canadian Thanksgiving? Is that like way earlier? But I'm kind of losing my steam here. But I know it's confusing. This is just part of it. If it was easy, then it would have already been done. You know? The circle makes sense, but I'm not sure it maps to the controls. Yeah, these controls, touch, parry, and avoid. I think the problem is avoid. Avoid is a maneuver, while guard is something you just stay still as. Touch maps to grab. Parry can map to attack, obviously. But avoid does not map to anything very well. So before I even worry about scissors, papers, and rocks, I need to map these 3 guys to the right over here first. It's like I'm trying to do like a triple, what's it called? Triple metaphor analogy here. Rock has to relate to guard, has to relate to avoid, parry, or touch, you know? So, what goes where? That's the problem I need to solve. It has to make thematic sense. Skype. The guys want to play StarCraft, I bet. Okay, what if you did the 3 actions things, but you designed the objects around it? So there were chains of them. That way it would be a lot easier than, say, random. Random, you'd see, oh, 5 papers and a scissors. random you'd see. I'm not sure what you mean. You're referring to when I was demoing my prototype, right? I can't stream StarCraft 2. My computer can't handle. Oh yeah, yeah. I intend for the rhythm part to, you know, to not be insane, like, oh, rock, paper, then rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, like, crazy combos like that. Yes, I'm making a new game. I know. Nidhogg is basically rock, paper, scissors. Shoot 'em up? Shoot 'em up motif. Rochambeau. Yeah, that's the other name for rock, paper, scissors. Gilded Quest. Don't remind me of that. I wanted to finish that so bad. But the programming got to me. Okay. I'm not gonna look at the chat for a bit. I just need to organize my thoughts. Let's put this back where it was so I don't get super confused. Not saying I'm not super confused right now, but you parry scissors, you touch paper, you avoid rock. Okay. The player can buy that. When you have things flying at you, you want to touch the paper. You want to do something about scissors. And you want to avoid rock. But unfortunately, when I translate this into grab, no, when I translate this into attack, grab, and guard, okay, yeah, oh, that's wrong. See, you have guard. This is a grab. This is attack. Why would you want to touch? Why would you want to touch an enemy grab? Why would you want to avoid a guard? And why? But you still want to parry attacks. So it works with rock, paper, scissors, but does not work with the other, my later metaphor. So we're gonna redo it. We're gonna try again, and we're gonna say this case. So if what did I have before? Touch aligned up with paper. Avoid lined up with. Okay, this is the current configuration, which we know doesn't work. So instead, we wish to touch when you see an enemy guard coming in, right? When you see a shield coming in, you want to grab that. So that, I feel like that would line up there. When you see an enemy attack coming, you want to avoid it? Sure. I can buy that. And then when you see an enemy grab coming in, you want to attack it, aka you want to hit a button and do something about it. This makes more sense. Now, how does that translate into visual mechanics? Like animation-wise? Well, let's see. A rock is coming at you. You wanna collect that. What? You do? Or do you want to collect a rock? Let's just say you run into it and you catch a. So collect rock slash shield. You want to avoid scissors. Sure. I'm thinking the problem is, okay, no, let's just finish. Parry. Wish to attack. Paper. And grabs. Makes sense. Okay, now I have to weigh this against my other one. You want to collect rocks? I want to avoid swords. Sure, avoiding swords. That makes sense. I'm gonna put that in green. That for sure makes sense. I'm not sure I can wrap my head around touching rocks and attacking paper. Swipe through paper. Swipe through a line of papers. Let's say I buy it. This could work. Now, could it be improved by saying, instead of void, I want to touch things? Okay. Step away. Gather my notes. Save. Save my notes. Step away from it. Just. Oh, hey, it's up. My evoker. Thanks for subbing, man. In case you're curious, the only emote I have right now is Gilded Glee. Oh, okay. Oh man. Okay, that was 2.5 hours of just like gameplay theory crafting. I didn't even do any art or draw or write or program. That was just pure planning. I think I need to step away. I might be obsessing, but this stuff is important to me. Because if I can design an elegant system, where I described earlier, an elegant system for music to play in the background, and for your opponents to express their attacks as a shield, as a sword or some kind of attack, and as grabs, and it's like fun enough to deal with these three options as music is playing in the background and your character is running across the screen. Or no, your character is running in place, but these attacks are flying at you, and you're having fun, you know, dealing with them by avoiding, collecting, and attacking the different options. That could carry the rest of the game throughout the rest of the development. So I think it's important to get this formula down in a very clean, elegant way, or the most clean way possible. Kind of like how Undertale was able to get away with just a heart moving around, dodging bullets. They could have made it way more complicated than that. But they were able to squeeze a lot of story out of that simple gameplay. And that's what I'm trying to achieve with something that's just the right amount of complexity, but it's like very flexible in its ability to tell a story through a rhythm game. Let's look at this fan art. Ah, you got the Go Guy's new style. Yeah, his gloves are pretty. He kind of looks like One Punch Man in this picture. I gotta be careful not to make Go Guy punch anybody in one hit. But thanks, Daniel. It was awesome. I'm gonna stop streaming. If this was a regular animation stream, I could probably go on for another hour or two. But since this is like theory and game design, it takes a lot more out of me. What do I have planned? I guess I could show you. Here's some really early gameplay design I had. As you can see, I still have that rhythm idea where the enemy's throwing attacks at you. Right now I'm trying to figure out the formula for the mechanics of how to deal with these attacks. And when you complete a sequence perfectly with the music, you get like a intercut scene right here. Your action cuts. Something cool happening. Freedom Dive Kappa. Assuming that's a really tough game. But yeah, before I can code all this cool stuff, I have to make sure it's fun and intuitive. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna stop the stream, maybe play some games with my friends, and I will revisit this when I have more, when my head is clear, because I think I have two very viable options here, and maybe I'll come up with something better, or you guys will help me come up with something more clear, or I'll come back to this and be like, what am I thinking? This is like too confusing. Right now it's just really cloudy, so I'll take a break. But yeah, thanks to my Evoker and Uncle My Junk for subbing, resubbing. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna try to stream more now.